Good afternoon, I'm Raine Musñgi. This is Newsfeed. Local shares bounce back from Wednesday's slump as the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas signals more rate cuts ahead. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index went up by about 96 points or 1.31% to reach a fresh multi-year high. Value turnover improved to 12.5 billion pesos. Gainers dominated losers 111 to 80. Metrobank, one of the day's most actively traded stocks, jumped more than 2% as the financials counter outperformed the market. Other banks also rallied, with Bank of the Philippine Islands surging 4.55% and BDO advancing by 1.52%. The Asian Development Bank maintains its growth outlook for the Philippines while lowering its inflation forecast for the country. In its latest report, the ADB kept its 6% gross domestic product growth forecast this year, citing easing inflation and interest rates, along with sustained public spending on infrastructure projects. The bank expects inflation to come in at 3.6% in 2024, down from its previous estimate of 3.8%. But the ADB warns risks remain, including potential severe weather events and global financial volatility due to geopolitical tensions. Ayala Corporation is undertaking several fundraising initiatives, starting with treasury sales. Ayala says it raised 2.2 billion pesos from the sale of more than 3 million treasury shares at 7.20 apiece in a block sale transaction. The conglomerate is also launching a follow-on offer next week that will raise up to 15 billion pesos from the reissuance of 7.5 million Class B preferred shares. Securities will be sold at 2,000 pesos each, with the proceeds funding the redemption of 15 billion worth of previously issued preferred shares. The National Association of Electricity Consumers wants the Office of the Ombudsman to cite suspended Energy Regulatory Commissioner Chairperson Mona Lisa de Malanta for indirect contempt. This is for allegedly discussing details of her ongoing case filed by the same consumer group in a public forum attended by journalists. NASACOR asserts this is a clear violation of the sub judice rule, which restricts comments and disclosures on pending legal proceedings. De Malanta is facing a 6-month preventive suspension due to NASACOR's complaint accusing her of failing to protect public interest through her alleged inaction on resetting Meralco's power rates. Turning now to the rapidly escalating conflict in the Middle East, Israel warning of a possible ground incursion into Lebanon. Israel's military chief says the relentless airstrikes will continue to cripple Hezbollah infrastructure and prepare the way for a ground assault. As the offensive continues, the death toll in Lebanon mounts. At least 50 more were killed Wednesday and over 200 hurt in the latest barrage of strikes. The UN Secretary General issuing yet another dire warning.
Madam President, Excellencies, hell is breaking loose in Lebanon. As I told the General Assembly yesterday, we should all be alarmed by the escalation. Lebanon is at the brink.
Tuvalu's Prime Minister calls for international cooperation to address rising sea levels as he spoke before the United Nations in New York. This, he says, poses an existential threat to the economies, culture, and heritage of small islands and developing countries. An analysis by NASA shows that in the next 30 years, Tuvalu and other Pacific island nations like Kiribati and Fiji will experience at least 8 inches of sea level rise. This will happen regardless of whether greenhouse gas emissions change in the coming years.
Sea level rise is a global and a multi-dimensional phenomenon that requires global action and prompt response. No nation, no community can address it alone. Today is our historical opportunity to turn the global tide and to embark on a common path that secures prosperity, dignity, and rights to all affected countries and communities.
On the lighter side of the news, an architect in the UK finds a new use for the humble oyster shell. She's turning them into eco-friendly concrete, helping the construction industry reduce its carbon footprint. She was inspired to use the shells after coming across a busy oyster restaurant in London that throws thousands of shells into the bin every day.
Oystercrete is a bioalternative material to traditional concrete, using discarded oyster shells that collected from our partner restaurants and turned into this composite biomaterial. So we kind of want to focus on like starting out with the small interior objects, furniture, even a tray that could go back into the restaurants. So these are sort of our beginning point, but the main goal, we want to test it in a larger scale application, like for architectural, wall cladding, interior design.
Meta's first prototype of augmented reality glasses, dubbed Orion, is out, and CEO Mark Zuckerberg is calling it a time machine to the future. The thick-rimmed glasses use holograms to offer a combined view of the digital and physical worlds. They're controlled using voice, eye movement, and even hand gestures. While the prototypes are not for sale, Zuckerberg says they are planning several iterations that will make it smaller, sleeker, and more affordable for consumers later on. For Zuckerberg, this is a crucial step towards his goal to offer a hands-free substitute to his smartphone.
All right, here we go. There you go. This is Orion, our first fully functioning prototype, and if I do say so, the most advanced glasses the world has ever seen. They need to be glasses. They're not a headset, no wires, less than 100 grams. They need wide field of view, holographic displays, sharp enough to pick up details, bright enough to see in different lighting conditions, large enough to display a cinema screen or multiple monitors for working wherever you go, whether you're in a coffee shop or on a plane or wherever you are. And you need to be able to see through them. And people need to be able to see through them too and make eye contact with you. Where this isn't pass-through. This is the physical world with holograms overlaid on it.
With just less than a week to go before the highly anticipated Nintendo Museum opens in Japan, the gaming giant gives fans a sneak peek into what's inside. The museum features vintage video games and an interactive shoot-'em-up with iconic Super Mario characters. It's located inside a renovated factory in Kyoto, where Nintendo was founded in 1889. The museum was first announced in 2021 and is set to open on October 2. Tickets went on sale Tuesday, costing more than 3,000 yen or $22. Now, before we go, here's a look at today's winners and losers. And those are the news this hour. I'm Raine Musñgi. Stay tuned to BNC on Free TV Channel 31, Channel 24 on Signal, and on our website, bnc.ph. Thank you so much for watching.